Psychological safety. We hear that phrase everywhere, right? But what does it actually mean? Today we're going to break it down and see it as more than just another corporate buzzword. We're going to look at it through the lens of some really powerful research, one that's grounded in decades of real, lived experience.
I make myself small, invisible. Wow. This whole analysis kicks off right there. Not in some stuffy boardroom, but with this incredibly vivid memory from childhood. It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? Our whole internal map of what safe means gets drawn when we're super young. And that map, it pretty much guides how we deal with risk, power, and whether or not we use our voice for the rest of our lives.
So that feeling of being safe, the one we first learned as kids, how does that show up when we're adults? At work, in a team meeting, or even in a classroom? This research really pushes us to stop looking for a simple dictionary definition. Instead, it invites us to think of safety as something that's alive, something that evolves right alongside us as we grow and change.
To really get how this whole safety thing evolves, the author lays it all out for us. They were a nurse, then became an educator, and they frame their own story as a journey in 3 acts. And it's this personal story that gives us this completely new way of understanding what it really takes to feel safe.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This model frames safety not as a switch you just flip on or off. Nope, it's a process, a development. It suggests that we all kind of move through these 3 phases. First, we need protection. Then, we look for permission. And finally, we get to the stage where we're actually building safety with other people. So, let's start at the beginning, the student phase. At this point in our lives, what does safety mean? Well, it's pretty simple. It's about being protected, shielded from harm, from intimidation. The research talks about this baptism by fire moment. You can just imagine it. A student nurse in a really tough situation, where feeling safe was 100% dependent on someone else stepping in to balance the scales of power.
Then we grow up a bit, right? We move into our professional roles, we become practitioners. And the need, it shifts. It's not just about being protected anymore. Now it's about getting permission. Permission to what? Well, permission to try things out, to test your voice, to be a little vulnerable, and to take those social risks you have to take to grow, all without being terrified of getting smacked down for it.
And then we get to the final phase. You become a leader, a mentor, an educator. And guess what? Safety changes again. It's no longer something you get from others. It's something you actively build with others. It's a shared thing, a co-construction, as the research calls it. Now, your job is to create the kind of place where other people can feel that protection and get that permission we just talked about.
So this whole 3-act journey, it basically gives us a brand new map. A map for understanding all the forces that are shaping how safe we feel, every single day, whether we realize it or not.
And this map has 3 main dimensions, which this chart lays out perfectly. First, you've got the experiential. Think of this as your personal baggage, everything from your childhood, your past experiences, your emotions, it all comes with you into the room. Then there's the relational. This is about the here and now, the power dynamics, the hierarchy, the vibe between you and the other people in the room. And finally, the big one, the institutional. These are the official rules, but also the unspoken rules, the culture of the place you're in. And here's the key. Real psychological safety, it's made or broken right where those 3 circles overlap.
This brings us to what might be the most important idea in this whole thing, the value of consequence. What does that mean? It means that the choice to speak up, to be vulnerable, it's never simple. For every single person, it's a complicated mental calculation of risk versus reward. And, this is critical, that calculation is totally different for everyone.
So, let's make this personal. What's the perceived cost of speaking up in your world? What's the risk of asking a so-called dumb question or admitting you made a mistake? For someone in the room, it might be nothing. Easy. But for someone else, because of their background, their identity, their position, that exact same action could feel like a massive career-ending gamble. That's the value of consequence in action. It is absolutely not universal.
And this is such a critical distinction to make. We have to get this right. Psychological safety is not about being comfortable. It's not about everyone being nice and avoiding any and all disagreement. Not at all. It's about having the candor, the honesty, to bring up the hard stuff, to talk about mistakes, to have those tough conversations, precisely because the environment feels safe enough to handle it. Comfort and candor are 2 very different things.
So, okay, what do we do with all this? Why does knowing about this journey and these layers matter to you, like right now?
All right, let's just quickly boil it down to the key takeaways.
Number 1, safety isn't a destination, it's a developmental journey. Number 2, it's shaped by this mix of our personal history, our current relationships, and the systems we're in. 3, that value of consequence thing, it means risk feels different for everybody. And finally, number 4, the real goal here is candor, being honest, not just being comfortable.
You know, this idea totally reframes how we should think about this. Psychological safety isn't some checkbox a leader ticks. It's not a plaque you hang on the wall or a policy you write once and then file away. It's an ongoing, active, living negotiation, a constant back and forth between people, all happening inside a larger system.
And that brings us to the final, and maybe most important question. If safety really is a negotiation, not a guarantee, if it's something we are all actively creating together in our meetings, our teams, our classrooms, then that leaves us with one question, doesn't it? Who is responsible for the next move?